Before I get started here, I should probably just make this abundantly clear. I'm not depressed at all. This is kind of a negative video, at least to start. If it even turns negative, I'm not entirely sure, but just want to let you know, just because I know if anyone does see this, it's going to be like close friends and family. So just again, putting that out there, not depressed. This is just me trying something new. I wanted to try expressing myself in a new way. I've kind of been caught up in the same mental cycle for as long as I can remember, like a decade at this point. And I want to try just actually saying these things out loud and see what comes from that. I mean, I've tried journaling about this. I've filled literal journals, notes apps, Google Docs, and I'm not seeming to gain any traction in this thought pattern. So again, just trying to put myself out there a little bit more. So I'm 30 now, and I'm realizing that I'm kind of caught in this life where I'm spending all of my time looking forward to this imaginary tomorrow, this alternate version of myself that I keep thinking about, like daydreaming, thinking about constantly. Like it's pretty nonstop, honestly. And I think it's fun to daydream about that stuff, like, oh, who you could be once you lock in, or who you could be if you had done something different. But I've noticed that a lot of my current days, like my real life experiences, they're just starting to feel like placeholders until I get to that life. I've always kind of defined being in a rut for myself as when you're just trying to get through days rather than live each day. And I've definitely started to feel that way pretty heavily, especially when it comes to things such as weekdays or time where I don't have a lot of time dedicated to myself, like a 2 week stretch where I'm going to be traveling a lot, stuff like that. And it's really these last like 2-3 weeks, it really hit hard. I've been going to bed really early and sleeping in really late. And it's not because I'm so tired. It's just because I feel like I'm trying to get to tomorrow. I don't want to start the day in front of me. Like the day in front of me seems so daunting. I don't want to go to work and just sit and look at a computer for 10 hours and feel like I'm not actually doing anything. It's not a fun existence to be in. My life just doesn't really excite me right now the way that it should. And I feel like I'm working hard to like get to that alternate life, that life where I have like accomplished hopes, dreams, career aspirations, where I have improved my skill set, or I look physically fit or stuff like that. Like I think I'm like pushing in that direction, but for like the effort's there, but I feel like I've made pretty much zero traction. It feels like the wheels have been spinning for a decade. And earlier this week, I got really like I've gone through these cycles before. I think everyone does. I would imagine everyone who's 30 years old starts to think like, oh, why doesn't my life look like this? I feel like I'm working hard, whatever. It really threw me for a loop earlier this last week. I was like, boom, I was down bad. And I started to question like literally everything in my life. And I still feel like, even though I feel a lot happier now overall than I did earlier this week, I still feel like the questions are still something that I'm kind of toying with. I'm kind of in this spot where I am kind of questioning almost everything I've ever once believed. I feel like I've kind of recently had a breakthrough, if you want to call it that. But I know for a fact, I wanted to go through and just figure out these things that I know for a fact. I know for a fact I've never once been proud of what I do for work. When people ask you that question, I've always given just like that modest, embarrassing answer, like, oh, I do so and so for so and so, and then make a quick joke to like diffuse it. Like, even when I've had, like I worked for a scrapbooking company that kind of sucked. And I've had some jobs that are kind of tougher to explain, but I always just blow by it. And I don't know if other people feel that way, if other people feel embarrassed about what they do for work, or they kind of just give that answer where you're just like, oh, don't ask me any more questions. I want to talk about this. I know I've always had that. I've never once been like psyched about what I do for work, and that just eats up way too much of my brain power. I'm starting to realize how much time and energy I spend thinking about just like career stuff. And it's only one aspect of your life, but I do know that as long as I can remember, I've wanted to be an internet creator in some way, shape, or form. When I was a little kid, it was film director. And then like basically the second I started watching like Smosh, it turned into YouTuber. And I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. I've never told people that out loud. I've always said like the safer path, like, oh, marketing or advertising, copywriting. That's the stuff I actually went to school for. But the plan was always to be some sort of creator or entertainer. That's what I at least told myself in my heart. And because that's all I've ever wanted to do, it's literally all I've ever thought about doing. I always had that like plan A job, like, oh, maybe I'll be a journalist, something like that. But the goal was always to eventually become a creator. But I also know that for as long as I can remember, it's felt like pulling teeth to get me to actually sit down and create. This is something I've wanted since I was 13 years old. I'm 30 now. Like I've wanted this over half my life, and I've only probably made double-digit videos for myself in that lifetime. It's always been an idea that I've loved, but I've never actually like sat down and really committed to. I've done little things here and there. I just filmed a LinkedIn video. Like I do these little projects back and forth, but there's never been any consistency. There's never been any structure, and there's never been any momentum besides I mean, to be fair, I did randomly get a full-time job that allowed me to be a creator for a while. So I did technically achieve that goal. But even then, the stuff I was making, it always just felt like, oh, this is what I'm making for now. But in the future, that's when I'm going to really make the stuff that I want to make. I've never actually, I think the best way to put it is I've never actually sat down and allowed myself to fail at making the type of stuff that I've always said that I wanted to make. And now I'm left grappling. I mean, it's been a decade of this. So obviously it's, this isn't just like me being a little lazy. There's something deeper there. Maybe laziness is the symptom, but there's something deeper, like the diagnosis is a little deeper. And I think at this point, because it's something I've wanted and I haven't told people about, I think I'm afraid more so to fail to myself when I think about it. I think you always tell yourself, oh, they must think that I have this big thing that I'm hiding inside me. And in reality, obviously no one cares what's inside you, but there's always that idea like, oh, he's going to make some attempt. He's going to like show us all who he really is. And that has just built creating to be such a thing in my head where I'm absolutely paralyzed. I can't move. I can never commit to any real ideas. I feel like I'm always just kind of making half-ass stuff just to tell myself that I'm trying, but it's never really the stuff that I'm like, that is who I am. That represents what I can do. I don't know if I have a video in my arsenal that really showcases like what I can do. And I think I need to get to a point. I don't need to. I really want to get to a point where I am making those types of videos on a regular basis, like actually pushing myself. I think the problem is that I say I want to make this high quality stuff. I love the idea of creating like a documentary or like a proper YouTube channel, stuff like that. But all my actions just continue to say otherwise. And I don't even I mean, maybe it is my fault. It probably is. It probably is my fault. But I'm also caught in this crazy loop for the past like decade. So when I have like a ton of free time, like say like I have 3-4 weeks where I can like really attack something, I tend to, that's like, okay, I'm going to sit down like a day like a Friday, fiance's out of town. I'm going to sit down and make some videos. And I'll do that for a while. And I start to like feel something. I start to feel really good when I'm doing that. Like I actually really enjoy when I'm putting stuff out on a regular basis. It makes me feel good because I'm not letting myself down. But then every few weeks, I'll get hit with some sort of expense, like a car thing. I have to book flights to go to a friend's wedding, something like that, that just makes me super financially insecure. And then I shift gears completely to being like, no, I need to profit off of this skill I have now. I need to become a freelance videographer. And I will spend all my time like DMing local businesses, offering them free videos because I don't really have a portfolio, or at least I haven't put together or expressed a portfolio that is worthy of getting paid. So I'll wake up like a month later and I have like 10 free videos I'm doing for like a local gym or a golf instructor, something like that. And I'll be like, wait, this sucks. I hate this. I'm not enjoying this at all. And then I go back to doing the creator stuff. So, and then after having made like minimal to no money doing the freelance stuff, it's always been an either or thing. And I think there's a world that it's just an and thing, but I haven't been able to find that yet. And in reality, I just think there's a few steps I need to take. Like, I think I just need to, if I'm doing freelance work, I need to start charging for it. It's time. I know I'm I know I'm not great. And I think that's what's frustrating is I feel like I'm not good enough to make money with my work, but I've also gotten proof that people will pay me. I just need to put myself out there, get rejected more, all that fun stuff. So that's kind of the loop I've been stuck in. I feel like I've been working hard for like 10 years. And when I look at like my Google Drive, I see all these folders from projects that I've done way in the past. Like I have been in motion these past like 10 years or so, but it hasn't been in like one solid direction. It's literally just been like one step in 1,000 different directions. And I feel like maybe this is entitlement. I feel like should have more to show for my efforts than I do. And that I think bums me out quite a bit. But the main problem, I think, the number one thing that I've done that has kind of really screwed me up is throughout the past 10 years, I have become one of those like self-help business content junkies. I read all the self-help books. I watch all the business podcasts and all that stuff. And I literally just have libraries of information in my head. And the problem is I have so much advice and information in my head that I'm starting to see like contradictions. Like someone will say, oh, to live the best life possible, you should just explore. You should be out there trying all sorts of things. And then someone will say, if you want the best life ever, you need to focus. And that's just an example. You need to focus, lock in on one thing and yada, yada, yada. It's all this contradicting advice based off of different people who I admire for different reasons, who are also at different stages of life than me. And I try too hard to like follow that advice to a T. I internalize the advice. And I think the school system is actually so bad looking back at it. I wasn't like a great student. I was like a B student in high school, like B minus C student in college. But I so internalized this idea that there is a right answer, there is a correct answer, and that you need to find that. And because of that, I basically just become an echo of the last person I watched or the last book that I read. Like I feel like that's the test that I am like studying for, and I can't seem to get over that hurdle. Or just, I think the best people are able to probably take advice like, oh, that's interesting, and move on with their day. I try and like write systems based on what I just feel like I learned, and I try and just make that my whole thing while learning absolutely nothing. I'm too afraid to do anything wrong, so I end up doing nothing right. So again, it's just the fact that I've spent so long chasing this alternate version of myself, and I think I read all of that material and watch all that content because I'm looking for a shortcut to become that person. I spend so much of my time either traveling or when I'm like spending time with friends, my fiance, and all I can think about is like, I should be doing something to get to this creator career somehow. And it makes me mad when I have to travel for a friend's wedding because that's just like time I'm missing apparently. But then when those weekends finally come and I have like a chance to sit down, I have nothing on the calendar, I usually just freeze or I procrastinate because I've built it up for weeks in my head, just daydreaming. Oh, what am I going to do on Friday, August 1st when I have that full day? I need to make this whole thing happen as fast as possible. I end up freezing because it's just way too much pressure and I do pretty much nothing. Or I will default to filling my schedule with freelance work that gets me nowhere. I'm just avoiding actually doing the thing because I've built it up so much in my head and I'm trying so hard to find like the one correct way to do it so that I get the results as soon as possible rather than just like setting off on it as an open-ended quest and just enjoying that process. I'm always trying to find the way to make it the fastest from point A to point B possible because I've convinced myself that I'm so unhappy with this life. Even though that's not the case, I'm actually very happy with my life. I am improving things every single day, but it's just there's this idea, and I don't even like have a fully defined picture, but there's just this idea of a person that I just feel like I can like reach if I like hit the right button or if I make the right move, I can just reach and grab him and become him immediately. And I think after I've thought this literally for a decade, and I finally found, I think it was a few TikToks that just kind of changed my mind on a lot of things, such as like how cinematic social media videos need to be, or if you should use social media for expression, or just like desiring things in general? Like, are we going to just make ourselves unhappy until we have something? Is that all desire is? So I'm really making a concerted effort, I think, to change the way that I see the world. I don't even know what I want really. I think I've told myself it was this creator thing this whole time, but I needed to just let go of that desire. I need to not necessarily give up on it, but I need to let go of this idea that this is all I can think about is making things happen. I postponed big life events in my other aspects of my life because I felt like I wasn't that creator yet, or I wasn't ready yet because I wasn't that imaginary person. But again, the steps aren't even really being taken because I'm so paralyzed by how to become this person. I'm so lustful towards this imaginary version of myself, and I can't even move. It's just paralysis by analysis. So I'm ripping everything apart internally, and I want to figure out what else I want. I want to remove this idea that I need to be this person and just make it a much more casual thing. Make it something I enjoy. I told myself that I wanted to be a creator so bad because I wanted to do what I love for a living. Yet I haven't even proven that I love doing this because I've never allowed myself to do it just for fun. It was always with this idea that I'm eventually going to make money from it. And I think I've always looked at it just as like a job that I'm supposed to start rather than something I experiment with, something I have fun with. And so, yeah, I'm ripping it up. I'm questioning everything that I believe and removing any preconceived notion about myself. I don't think I need to chase these things that I knew I wanted in the past just because I wanted them in the past. What do I want today? What do I want right now? What do I think right now? What do I believe right now? All we have is today. I want to destroy the idea of myself and just exist and explore in the world that's in front of me. I also have decided that it's probably time I reconsider the idea of what a career really is. Again, these insecurities are always career based, always. And I think it's because I made such a stink in my childhood about like, oh, I'm going to have a cool job. I'm going to do something that I love, yada, yada, yada. But is that making me happier? Just chasing that idea? I don't know if it is. I'm honestly considering maybe I just conform and pick a job that gives me the most money. What if I just go somewhere 9 to 5, get as much money from there as possible to live the rest of my life and enjoy that? Is that a happier way to see work? Is it too stressful or too unrealistic to get to do what you love and make a ton of money from it? Maybe that's an unrealistic viewpoint. Maybe chasing that just takes away from doing all the stuff that you actually love. Like if I'm talking about what I actually love just like hanging out with my friends and playing 2K. Who says I need to love my existence 24/7? So I've thought about that, or maybe I've thought, well, maybe I need to find something I'm more passionate about. Is passion something that just like once you do it once, it just boom, it speaks to you? I haven't felt that in forever. Honestly, the only time I've ever felt that is like playing video games or 2K or something. Is that passion or is that just dopamine? Like I've never allowed myself really the chance to just like try something and allow myself to get fully engrossed in it. Every time I've gotten close, like I got into golf for a little bit, but then I stopped because I was like, I need to focus on building the career in the future that I want. When maybe golf was the thing all along. I just want to get into things and just allow myself to love them without thinking about how it's going to fit into my life or the grand scheme of things, or without trying to design my life so much. I feel like I spent all my time connecting the dots forward and trying to design this life that I love, mood boards, all that fun stuff. And I'm better off just exploring things, trying things, allowing myself to get into the stuff that I want to do, let my heart like speak, and then just ignoring everything else. Who says I need to have this type of hobby in my life, or who says I need to do this type of thing, or who says any of it? The real problem when I really boiled it down is this. I don't want success. I really want to be perceived as successful. People in my social circle tend to make more money than me, and they tend to be happier because they get to just like get off at 5 p.m., fuck off and do whatever. And I feel like I've spent so much of my time forcing myself to do things just to get some sort of outcome I've never really done things for fun or fulfillment. I was always kind of like racing myself or beating myself up that I wasn't figuring things out and getting to a certain financial level or a certain title or anything like that. And I've just never actually had sat down, had fun, and just tried things. I tend to chase titles rather than craft. And I think that's why there's so many projects at work or like videos I do where I'll rush through it, put out something that I know it probably isn't like the best indicator of my skill level, just because I feel like putting something out there or getting something done gets me closer to that vision for myself, when in reality, it doesn't do anything. I'm much better off just like locking in on one project, showing what I can do, putting my actual skill set out there into the world, allowing that level of taste and quality to get me to new places. I'm in this point now where I've been stuck at this same kind of level, I guess, in my video career and just my career in general. I feel like I'm stuck at a level, but it's because that's the level I keep putting out. I keep putting out like 70% or 60% even work, rather than allowing myself to try for 100 and being hurt. Again, I feel like I'm really just like protecting my ego, because what if I do put out 100% work and it sucks? And then I have to look at that and be like, wow, you were not that person you thought you were. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I was praised as a kid for being creative. Like that was like the things like, oh, wow, you're so creative. And I think now I get my validation from being told that I'm creative or doing creative things, which is why I've only ever wanted to be a creator or an artist in some way. If I had been praised for other things like science, math, or something, my life, I think, would be completely different. But because I was praised on that so much, I am so desperate for like creative approval. Like I have fantasies of hosting movie premieres where all my friends come and they're like, wow, we didn't know you were such a great artist or anything like that. Like that's what I'm going for. And it's not a fun place to be, because now I feel like I just put in half effort just so that I can tell myself like, oh, like wait till they see the real thing. Or like, if I had really, really done that, it would have been great. I don't know. What is that? I feel like there's got to be someone else out there who has faced a similar thing where they're not putting their all into like just protect their own ego. I don't know. I want to love the life that I'm creating for myself, not to sound cool to others or to feel impressive to other people. I want to do it for myself. I also need hobbies, dude. My fiance told me the other day that all of my hobbies, I've either tried to monetize them or start like tracking them in some sort of point thing. Again, I'm trying to like compartmentalize everything and create such like a designed life already, but I need to just find something I can do where I'm doing it just because I enjoy doing it. I genuinely don't know what that thing in my life is right now. I don't know what I do just because I enjoy doing it. Everything is with the result or with the end game in mind. It's exhausting, really. I always feel guilty because I'm not working towards that idealized future. So I've never really let myself explore any of my other interests when they do come up. Like literally, I keep mentioning it, but aside from video games, I don't know the last time I did something just to do it. And even then, I've like joined leagues with my friends. So there's like some sort of competitive element, or I'm tracking something or another. I don't know. I need to do stuff just because I enjoy doing it and just to even see what I like doing. I don't even know what I like doing right now. Like, why wouldn't I try and find that out? I don't want my life to look like a resume at the end of the day. I want it to look or feel like an adventure. I don't want to just do things stack on stack on stack. I've told myself this narrative for so long about the person I think I am or the person who I think I need to be. Screw that. I'm just going to figure it out in a new way. I just want to do my own thing and build my own philosophy. I have completely cut off any nonfiction content or media in my life. I can't listen to another book. Like opening my own YouTube and Instagram disgusted me to the point where I just went on a mass unfollowing spree on any and everything that made me think these thoughts. Like I just want to be as present in my life as possible. The red pill, like business content, it's all about transforming yourself to be a more successful person. And there definitely are traits and habits that successful people have that normal people don't, that lead to their success. But I just, instead of being the best me possible, I want to be just the most me possible. I just want to chase authenticity, find things that I enjoy doing, and find my own way of moving through life. And I've started to do that already. Like it's a subconscious thing. I think anyone, if you pointed a gun at them and said, like, what are your core beliefs? You have some idea, but I'm just in a point where I'm questioning what beliefs are mine versus what beliefs I think sound cool. But I just want to allow my natural interest and curiosity to take me where it goes, wherever that is. I don't care where I end up as long as it was me who got me there. And I think that's the biggest shift. I want to be, I wrote this on the elliptical a few months ago in my notes app, but I really like it. I want to be fully present in and accepting of the natural outcomes of following my curiosity and long-term wellness to the fullest extent. I think that alone sums it up. I'm going to allow myself, if I feel a thread of curiosity pulling me somewhere, chase after it, follow it. Let's see what's there. I don't want to just force myself into an existence that I don't enjoy. And that also means I need to stop taking projects I don't want to do, like, especially if it's for free. Why would I do that? I need to start making time to do the things I want to do, even if they suck, especially if they suck. I keep saying I need to, but I want to stop doing stuff like that. I want to start just trying the projects that I can do and the ones that I want to do, and just making them at the version that is possible for me at that moment. It might not be perfect, but I feel like I have this idea log of things I want to do, and I keep saving them for when I am that alternate person. But in reality, the current to-do list is probably the best way to attack that future. There's so many other problems out there in the world. There's so many people who are just struggling to get any sort of work in general. So I apologize if this came off as me complaining. Basically this. I have no real problems in my life when all my time is spent figuring out, like, oh, what is my purpose? What is my meaning? All of that. If you're at that point, you're in a pretty great spot in life. So again, I want to reiterate, I am incredibly happy with who I am, where I am, and why I am the way I am. Again, this is just something that's been on my chest forever, and I wanted to finally say it out loud without annoying an actual human being, and just put this out here. This is kind of just my step, potentially. I don't know if I'll publish this, but for me, this is a step of just moving in a direction I want to move in. I know I've always wanted to do YouTube. I always thought originally it was going to be something cinematic, beautiful, but dude, I don't have the time, nor have I showed the interest on a Saturday to going out and making something cinematic and beautiful. So why not just, instead of trying to reverse engineer how I become like some film director, let's start from the beginning. Let's just shoot off in a direction that you can and that you want to go, and allow the path to come on its own. So this is my first attempt at a real YouTube video in years. Again, don't know if I'll publish it, but I just want to find some sort of system that makes sense to me, something I can actually commit to, something I can actually do, and something that I enjoy doing. I think that's the main thing. Right now, for this season of life, I'm going to give Creator a few more months to see what happens. And my only goal is really to just get to a point where I enjoy doing it. Because once I enjoy doing it, or if I enjoy doing it, the rest is going to take care of itself. But I don't want to just be in this spot anymore where I'm forcing myself to try and make something happen so that I get to that end point. If I get there, I get there. If I don't, I don't. But I think life is more fun when you try not to expect too much out of it, or when you're not trying to have some sort of end goal in mind, or you're not trying to write your story before it's already written, I guess.